Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. It is a new year. It is 2024, and we are so blessed. We are so grateful to be here for a new year. And I want to welcome you in this new year to Purpose Journey Counseling LLC locked in. We are locked in for 2024. We were reloaded in 2023, and now we are locked in for 2024. So, on behalf of Purpose Journey Counseling LLC, locked in, again, we want to welcome you this morning. We want to say again, Happy New Year. It is Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024. We praise God for a new year. We praise God for new beginnings. And we praise God for new mercy and new grace every morning. So, again, we welcome you this morning. My name is Dr. Natatu North, and I am the owner and therapist of Purpose Journey Counseling LLC, which is located in Cincinnati, Ohio. So again, it is Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024. It is 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we want to welcome you if you're watching us live at 7 a.m. or if you catch this later in the day, later in the week, later in the month, or later in the year. We welcome you. We appreciate you being here. But at 7 a.m. now, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly known as Twitter. We're still doing it. We're still doing it because we want to. Formerly known as Twitter. And the YouTube link for this broadcast is posted on Instagram. So we do ask that you take just a few moments just to like this broadcast. Please like our pages on your preferred social media platform. Please follow us also on your preferred platform. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Purpose Journey Counseling. Whether you watch us on YouTube or not, it's okay. The content is the same, but we do ask that you please subscribe to our YouTube channel and let's share this broadcast. Our messages are always meant to be inspirational, encouraging, and so they're not just for us. You know, sometimes even if you're just scrolling on Facebook and you see this, you're like, oh, this might be cool. What is this? And then you hear something that's, inspirational, inspiring, something you're like, oh, wow, this might be something that my cousin would like, or my mother, or my friend, or somebody, or maybe a coworker that I don't even like that much. This might be something that's good for them. Share it, share. And let's also interact and engage in the comment section. So per usual, we always want to do when we're together, because Purpose Journey Counseling, we are a mental health private practice. So we are definitely proponents of mental health and the importance of mental health, and making sure that we have supports and resources available. So I always give these numbers, and I will continue to give these numbers. The first one is for the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. The number is 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255. This number is 24/7. So make sure you have this number available. And then the next number is for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. That number is 988. Again, that's 988. This number is also 24/7. You can also text this number. We share this because it's good for everyone to have it. You may think you'll never need it, and maybe you never will, but sometimes we end up needing it. But sometimes it's for someone else. Sometimes we have these gems and these resources for someone else. It's not always to benefit us. It's to benefit someone else. It's to serve someone else. So it's good to have these numbers available, just because something may happen, someone may need it, and we got to think on our feet. Sometimes it's good to just have this information available. So please make sure that you stored it in your phone if you have never done it before. If all last year you were watching us and you're like, oh, I'm going to store it in information, and you haven't, please. 2024, let's lock in, and lock these numbers in your phone, please. National Suicide Prevention Hotline, Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, either number, both numbers, but let's just make sure we have it available. Thank you so much. So again, it is a new year, and we are grateful to be here. And we are here, and we actually started this back in November. In December, we were doing Wellness Wednesdays on the first and third Wednesdays of the month. And now starting in January, we are back for our Wellness Wednesdays. And we are going to continue these because we want to make sure, again, mental health is so important. And we've learned some things in 2023 We've learned some things. Hopefully every year we're getting better, we're getting wiser, we're getting stronger, and not even from the experiences that aren't necessarily our favorites, for lack of a better way of saying it, or they're tough, or they're things that really challenged us in a lot of different ways. The goal is to learn from things. So we really want to continue in 2024 and really locking in, like we said, locking in on our mental health and locking in on wellness as a whole and looking at wellness. We've talked about this before with Purpose Journey Counseling. We're always looking at mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health. Why? Because they're all connected. So we want to look at wellness as a whole, particularly in how it affects and impacts our mental health. So for this Wellness Wednesday, for this week, this first Wednesday of the month, we want to talk about know your limits. Know your limits. What are you talking about, Dr. Natatsu? Exactly what it sounds like. Not going to preach this morning. We as a people need to understand what are our limits. We all have them. And the issue with this that I've seen, experienced even personally, is a lot of times we know our limits. We know what our limits are, and then we push them. Or then we say, okay, well, I really could probably only handle this much, but I'm going to do a little bit more. Oh, this level here is probably enough. But then, okay, well, let me go ahead and push the envelope a little bit more. Or, well, I was really already maxed out, and then so-and-so asked me to do something, so now I'm going to push it a little bit more. I want to encourage you this morning to know, understand, embrace, acknowledge, and hone in on what are your limits. I'm not talking about in terms of setting goals, oh, the sky is the limit. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about our capacity to take on things, or our capacity to be able to just be doing. We've talked about this before. And I share this all the time because it's really a testimony and understanding this personally, because I had to understand this too, because I would push myself to the limit, past the limit, then past that limit, then past that limit. And the next thing you know, I'm wondering why I'm tapped out. I don't understand why I can't do anymore. I don't understand why I've lost all my energy, even sometimes enthusiasm went out the window, went out the door, because I was doing too much. Rest is important. Sitting, staring at the wall, doing absolutely nothing is important. It does not make you lazy. It does not mean that you are not going to be successful. You always got to be doing something. It is okay to say, you know what? I did do everything on my checklist today. And you know what? And now I'm not going to find something else to do. Because sometimes a lot of us, and they say idle mind is a devil's workshop. Sometimes it's not that. Sometimes an idle mind says, okay, well, I'm idle too long. I got to do something else. And I just want to encourage you for 2024 to know what your limits are, to exercise those limits, to practice those limits. It's not about trying to say, okay, let me make a list of all the things I'm not doing this year. It's not even so much that, but it's just we have to understand we max ourselves out. Some of us are not doing well physically. Our physical bodies are telling us we're doing too much. We have our hands in too much. We're trying to manage too much. And guess what? And this is serious, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Our bodies have limits too. And our bodies start to tell us and show us when we've reached our limits. Physical exhaustion, when we have all these health issues, things that come up, and it's like God's been trying to tell us, hey, you need to slow down. You need to pump the brakes. Guess what? I'm still going to bless you, even if you got to rest. It's okay to rest. It's okay to sit down sometimes. It's okay to lay down. It's okay to take a nap. One of the things that I appreciated over, and I didn't take a whole bunch of time off for the holidays, but in the time that I did have to rest, to sit, I was joking about this earlier, yesterday with clients about I took some naps. I don't remember the last time I really just took a nap, because I just took a nap. Yeah, there were things I could have been doing. There's always something to do. And sometimes the very thing to do is nothing. sometimes because I've reached that limit and I acknowledge and I know that I've reached that limit. So it's time for me to sit down. It's time for me to rest. And what I'm challenging us for this year is to not overtax all the time. Yes, there will be times where we're like, you know what? I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to go above and beyond in this situation. And that's okay. But what I'm stating and what is of uttermost importance is that we're not doing it so much that then we are now passing our limit. We are overtaxing ourselves all the time. If we overtax ourselves all the time, we won't be here, because we all have our limits. We have our limits of what we can physically handle, mentally, emotionally. And even in our spiritual life, if we're taxed out and taxed, in every other area, we're maxed out, we're on overhaul all the time, it's going to impact our spiritual life, because then what are we giving God? Is God included in the time that we're spending maxed out on everything else? It's time out for this go, do, run. We don't sit down because we got to do this, we got to do that. It doesn't make you lazy. It doesn't mean that you're not productive, you're not fruitful because you rest. Actually, we've said this before, we're more fruitful when we rest. When we take some time to say, you know what? I'm not going to do anything extra today. I'm going to get done what I need to get done, and then I'm going to sit down. Or even to say, you know what? I've not been feeling well. I'm going to just sit down today. I'm going to take that time. And I'm going to encourage you, and then I'm going to get off my soapbox, because I could go on this could be a whole podcast, really. But using your PTO, using your sick time, I get it. I used to be an employee. I understand what that's like. Use it. I'm encouraging you for 2024. Use the time. Know your limits. That's what it's there for. We don't need to be saving sick time. Some of us are saving sick time that we're never going to use. Some of us are saving sick time that we really need to use now, or you're going to be forced to use it later. And I'm not speaking it negatively for that sense. I'm just speaking this so that you can understand. We got to be locked in every area of our lives for this year. It's not just a catchphrase for Purpose Journey Counseling. It is stating we need to lock in on these things. I've seen it too much. I've experienced it personally. Know your limits. And if you don't know what they are, trust me, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out when you get agitated, or you're getting those migraines all the time, or you got these random pains. Sometimes it's not aging. Let's not blame every pain on aging. Sometimes it's because we're doing too much. Know your limits. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say, hey, not this time, but how about this time? It's okay to return some of those phone calls, maybe tomorrow, not today. It's okay. You got to know what we have to know our limits. So I want to encourage you for our Wellness Wednesday to know your limits. Let's start off the year right. Let's start off right. Again, I'm not saying make a list of things you're not doing, can't do, but maybe you might need to make a list of some things you're not doing, can't do this year. Because maybe in 2023, maybe 2022 and 2021, you've been pushing the limit all the time, and you find yourself not in good situations mentally, emotionally, physically, and even spiritually because you're passing that limit. So I want to encourage you on this first Wednesday of the month for our Wellness Wednesday. Know your limits. It's okay. You're not God, because God is limitless. You're not God. There's things we got to do, absolutely. And sometimes the very thing to do is to say, you know what? That's my limit. Now I'm going to need to just kind of fall back a little bit. I'm encouraging you today, people. Know your limits. I'm going to get off my soapbox. So again, we are grateful for 2024. We are grateful for a new year, another opportunity. And January is a beautiful month. Very, very beautiful month. Extremely beautiful month. Very beautiful month. But I just want to share this with you all. Our schedule for Purpose Journey Counseling LLC locked in for 2024. We will have, Lord willing, our Wellness Wednesdays on Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So not the first and the third Wednesdays, every Wednesday, Lord willing. Excuse me, we will do those on our Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then our podcast, hashtag from a Christian, hashtag from a therapist with Dr. Natatu, will be on the first Sundays of the month at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I do want you to mark your calendars. So yes, this Sunday is the first Sunday of January. However, we will start our podcast in February, because why? We know our limits, but we are preparing still great things for this year. But we will start our podcast. Our first podcast of 2024 will be on Sunday, February 4th, 2024. 2024. I have to keep practice saying that. So please mark your calendars, plan to join us on the first Sunday of 2024. I always say this because it's always true. I'm just looking forward to what God is going to do. God has been doing some incredible things. We've been here on social media now since 2021. We're about a year and a half now. So of doing this on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Instagram. So we're just grateful for the platforms that God has given us. So mark your calendars. So our tag for Purpose Journey Counseling, like I said last year, is not changing. It's not changing. But I want to encourage you all to be loving, be kind, be compassionate, and be intentional towards others as well as towards yourselves as we're knowing our limits. That's being loving, kind, compassionate, and extremely, extremely intentional. So again, we thank you so much for tuning in this morning for the first Wednesday of 2024. And I want to put this back up there because this just makes me excited. Purpose Journey Counseling, locked in. So we're locked in. We're thankful that you locked in with us this morning, and we're praying that you lock in with us for the remainder of the year, be it the Lord's will, if we are together. But Lord willing, we will see you next Wednesday, January the 10th, which is the day before the best day of the year. Yes, it is the day before the best day of the year. But we are grateful for you. We thank God for you. We bless God for your life. And we're praying for your mental health, your emotional health, your physical, and your spiritual health on today. We are grateful. And Lord willing, we'll see you next Wednesday for Wellness Wednesday. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And